So welcome to the webinar. This is 13 Ways You're Killing Your Conversion Rate. I'm Anna Sawyer. I'm the marketing manager here at Trada, and I'm joined by Bill Quinn, who is our VP of Marketing. And we're very happy to have you here.
Hi, everyone.
So today we are going to walk you through 13 of the most common and deadly conversion killers in search marketing. If you're guilty of any of these, don't feel bad and don't worry. We're also going to offer some tips for how you can quickly and effectively get your conversion rate back up. During the webinar, if you have any questions, you can type them into the chat box, and we will answer them after the main part of the webinar. So before we start, we want to talk about why specifically we are qualified to talk about paid search mistakes. And I think Bill would like to expand on this.
Yeah, so really there's a couple of reasons that I feel like we're pretty well qualified to talk about paid search. The first is that we've kind of come from the school of hard knocks. So, you know, unfortunately for us, unfortunately for all of you gleaning this knowledge, you know, we've sort of made a lot of these mistakes. I've been working in and running marketing departments for better than 15 years now and running paid search campaigns since about 2004. So, you know, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way that hopefully, you know, you all can learn from today, and we've learned from, you know, from making past mistakes. The other reason is that here at Trada, we work with hundreds of paid search advertisers who are just like you all, and they come to us because they're really struggling with their paid search campaign. So we get the benefit of seeing all of the mistakes that they've made along the way and learning from them, and then passing that information along to you all.
Thank you, Bill. So before we actually get to the 13 mistakes, I just want to take a moment to define terms for you. When we talk about conversions, we might be referring to any of several types of completed goals. So some types of businesses use search marketing exclusively to drive traffic to their website. Today we are focusing on the bigger percent of businesses who prefer to track completed goals on their sites. There are several reasons to track goals. The biggest one is to be able to determine your ROI, or return on investment. This is something that we talk about a lot at Trada. If you can assign a monetary value to a goal, you can tell when paid search is paying off for you. Now, depending on your type of business, a conversion might be a sale on your e-commerce website, or it could be a download or a completed form if you're focused on lead generation. We work with all kinds of conversion goals here at Trada, and we try to address the different types when we talk about conversions. So let's get started. Bill and I will now share with you the 13 conversion killers and how you can bring your campaign back to life. The first conversion killer is driving traffic to your homepage. This mistake is incredibly common because, after all, why shouldn't you send visitors to your homepage? There's easy navigation to the rest of the site, and a visitor can direct themselves wherever they'd like to go from the homepage. So it makes a lot of sense that you would drive traffic here. But actually, that is the problem. If someone's able to click around, your conversions will go down. You want to make it easy for a customer to complete the transaction. So if you're an e-commerce company and your focus is on sales, the landing page should be the product you advertise in the ad. And if your goal is a completed form or a download, you should be sending them to a page with a form or a download. And to further boost your conversion rate, we suggest you send them to a dedicated landing page without any external navigation. Give them no choice but to complete the form, you know, or to leave. That should, of course, be an option because you don't want to be one of those creepy spammers who traps you on a page and forces you to restart your browser. And of course, as a final note, having a dedicated landing page filled with keywords that match those of your ad group will always give you a higher quality score, which will result in lower click prices and a better ad position. So that's not directly conversion related, but it's definitely worth mentioning. And now I would like to hand over to Bill for number 2.
Yeah, so killer mistake number 2 is really trusting your gut. So, you know, this is using what you think you know about your paid search campaign as opposed to really leveraging data. You know, I'm always amazed, you know, as I look at our own paid search campaign, I'll see ads come through and, you know, I really don't think they're going to be very effective ads, and then inevitably I'll go back and look at some of those ads, and oftentimes there are, you know, have our highest click-through rate and our highest conversion rate. You know, so I really encourage you all to, you know, not go with what you think, but go with what the data tells you. And one of the best ways to do this as you're getting started with a paid search campaign is to leverage, you know, kind of the hard work that your competitors have done and use that as a starting point. And then from there, you can gather your own data about your campaign. So really the best way to do this is use a keyword tool. There's a lot of them out there. A few of them are SpyFu, Raven, KeyCompete, and find out which keywords your competitors are using. And then, don't simply, though, grab those keywords and start running them. All you're going to end up doing is, sort of competing head-to-head with all of your competitors and, running up bid prices and sort of duking it out with them. Instead, leverage that knowledge to really use that as an anchor point, and then, use those to create long-tail keywords. And long-tail keywords are keywords that are 3, 4, 5 words long that very specifically describe your product or your service. It's great to ask friends, and other coworkers to help you with this, because diversity of thinking is really important. So what I mean by that is, I'm a 40-year-old male living in Boulder, Colorado. The way that I search for a product might be very different than the way a 60-year-old woman living in New York City might search for the exact same product. So you want a lot of diversity in your keyword list, and having a lot of people help you think about those keywords can be really powerful. So then take all of those keywords, add them to your campaign, and most importantly, then go back and test those keywords. Figure out which ones are working best and which ones aren't working. Get rid of the ones that aren't working. And when I say not working, meaning they're either not driving a lot of clicks or they're driving a lot of clicks for you but not ultimately converting. Get rid of those, take the ones that are working and sort of riff on those and create new keywords off of the ones that are working well for you.
So the killer mistake number 3 is fighting for first position. This one is tricky for those of us who are competitive, because of course we all want to win. And if you do a good job of structuring your paid search campaign well and optimizing it over time, it's pretty likely that you'll see yourself ranking in the first position for some of your keywords. But if you are wasting energy and money and time trying to rank first for all of your terms, you're making a mistake, and here's why. The first position actually may not convert as well as positions 2 through 4, simply because people are clicking around with abandon and they often hit that first ad. And plus, gunning for first position is frankly energy you should be spending elsewhere. And finally, the first position's clicks are often the most expensive. Well, I mean, they're always the most expensive. So it's really not worth it. So unless it's your own branded term, which you should try to rank first for this, try leaving position 1 to your competitor and let him worry about it. Bill, over to you.
Yeah, so the next one is, next killer mistake is targeting a wide area. So this is especially true if you, are a business that has, a local or a regional audience. If you're using the default settings, you're probably getting clicks from locations that you don't want clicks from. The default setting in Google AdWords or in Yahoo and Bing Search Alliance is to target the entire United States. So if you're a local business, again, that's not what you want. You want to very specifically put ads in front of people who are likely to walk into your store or to call your store, opt for your services. Google and Yahoo and Bing all offer something that's very simple to allow you to deal with this, and that's called geo-targeting. And geo-targeting simply allows you to, within your paid search campaign, specify exactly where you want your ads to appear. You can do this by country for a specific region of the United States, a specific state or city, or you can even get more specific than that. You can use specific zip codes, and you can also use a tool that's available in Google AdWords that leverages Google Maps that allows you to sort of draw a polygon that you can define a very specific area based on sort of drawing the boundaries around the map. So this is something that's really powerful to keep in mind, again, if you're a local business and you don't want people from New York City looking at your ads if you live in Los Angeles. So definitely keep this in mind. It will really help you drive down conversion costs.
Thank you, Bill. Now, killer mistake number 5 is using single broad match keywords. This is actually a very common mistake, especially for those who are starting out in paid search. It makes sense that if you are selling shoes, you'd want to have your ad appear when someone types in the word shoes. But these types of broad keywords have very low conversion rates. And of course, because they're competitive, meaning that many types of businesses want to rank for them, they are expensive. Now, this could be another sort of check your ego at the door type situation. Leave these to the competitors who are willing to rank for shoes and get a bunch of untargeted traffic. The problem with these keywords is that often they don't have anything to do with your product. You know, if someone types in shoes, they could be looking for shoes for horses, they could be looking for shoe repair, brake shoes, or it could even just be a brand that you don't carry. So save your money for clicks that will actually drive targeted traffic to your website by using exact and phrase match keywords and focusing on phrases that contain 3 or more words, so long tail keywords. So again, allow me to define terms here. Broad match keywords are you know, added to a campaign without quotation marks or brackets, and they allow ads to appear when a searcher types in any variation on any of the words included in your keywords. So again, like if someone were to type in shoes, they could be looking for anything that contains the word shoes. Phrase match keywords you enter on the back end in quotation marks. And when you use phrase match keywords, ads will run when a searcher enters a term that matches your keyword exactly, but it might include other words in addition to the keyword phrase. So if you entered running shoes, you know, the ads in your ad group that include running shoes might show for buy running shoes reviews, you know, comparing running shoes, used running shoes for anyone who might want those. And exact match is the ones that come in those little brackets. So when you use exact match keywords, ads will run when a searcher enters the term that matches your keyword exactly with no additional words. This is great for when you want to send really, really, really targeted traffic. So if you enter running shoes, your ad will only be served when someone types in running shoes. So these types of keywords are good to protect yourself from clicks that aren't relevant to your product or your service. And if you're able to create really long, detailed keyword lists, these are great for boosting your conversion rate. And then finally, long-tail keywords, which Bill talked about a little bit earlier. These are ones that include 3 or more words within the phrase. Like you could type in, where to buy Nike running shoes. So this is a really targeted keyword. Anyone who types in where to buy Nike running shoes is someone who is probably looking to buy Nike running shoes. So if you're selling Nike running shoes, this is, you know, a great keyword. It's less likely to send you irrelevant clicks. Bill?
All right, killer mistake number 6, failing to use all the space available to you. So this is really, you know, kind of the message here is leverage all of the space available to you. It's really pretty limited anyway. You know, you have a 25 character headline plus 70 characters to use to work with. Use those in a really compelling way to catch the searcher's attention. So, you know, don't just simply describe your product or service. You know, create some excitement around your ad. Make your ads compelling. You know, put something, you know, timely or controversial in them to get people to look and want to look more at your ads. The other thing that I'll say is, you know, make sure you leverage the display URL. So in the case that you're looking at, the display URL is the green text that you see. This isn't necessarily the exact URL that you're that you will link to when you go to the, you know, when you click on the ad. That's called the landing page URL. This is different, and this allows you to sort of define any URL that you want to put in front of the searcher. And so you can use this to kind of drive home additional messaging for your particular ad. So again, don't get creative with the way that you word things so that you get every character out of those 70 characters that are available to you. Sometimes you end up with weird word wraps and things like that that aren't ideal for you, and so people will just shorten it and clip off big words. Instead, you know, kind of work on rearranging the words a little bit so that you get the maximum amount of space available to you.
So the killer mistake number 7 is no call to action. Now, when it comes to writing ad copy, this is the one tip that we drive home again and again. It might seem really simple, but you need to tell people what to expect when they click. This is sort of like a direction that you put in your ad. So a searcher who knows what to expect when she clicks is more likely to click and convert. So, you know, you should let whoever, you know, you should write in your ad, you know, allow this person to know what's going to happen. Are they going to be able to save? Are they going to be able to buy it now, get it here, start the download? You know, make it very, very clear what the searcher is going to be able to get as soon as they get to your landing page.
Okay. Killer mistake number 8, allowing dates to expire. So including dates in your ad are a really smart thing to do. It's great to drive a sense of urgency in your campaign. So, if you have a Christmas campaign or, a Mother's Day campaign, to use something more recent, it's great to say, get your scarf before Mother's Day and specify the date in there so that people are thinking about, wow, that's coming up, I better, really get moving and buy that. The problem is you need to make sure that you go back through and update those ads or remove those ads so that you don't have backdated ads running because it really just sort of makes your ad look pretty silly and really decreases the relevancy of your ad. People are just going to take a look at it, assume that you kind of don't know what you're doing and move on. So just a little tip or trick to avoid having this happen to you is to just go into your calendaring system, whatever you use, and set calendar reminders for yourself so that you don't get busy and forget to update a bunch of ads that you might have. That way you can make sure that it's going to be front and center for you to go in and remove those ads, pause them, and add some new ones.
So the killer mistake number 9 is filling your ad copy with adjectives. You do want to convince a searcher that your offer has more value than your competitors, but adjectives aren't very descriptive and they're often perceived as being superlative, so people might be less likely to believe them. So when I think of this rule, I'm reminded of a sign that I saw at the Waffle House. Now, if you are not familiar with the Waffle House, it's this sort of awesome, old-timey type diner that's all across America, and they have a sign where they claim to have the best steak in America. Now, I can pretty much categorically disprove this claim, so I just laughed at the sign, but I love it that they're out there saying they have the best steak in America. Now, you might actually have the best shoes in America, but it's better to describe your value tangibly with action, something that people can relate to. Free shipping is more powerful than the best shoes of all time ever, and, cheapest steak on the side of this highway is probably, a better way that they could describe it than saying that they have the best steak in America, which is something that, frankly, I'm not so sure about. So definitely, describe your value in a way that people can relate to without saying, like, oh, we're the best ever. Say, describe your offer.
All right, great. So I think that Anna gave me, set this up so that I would end up with killer mistake number 10 so that she could get me to say Buffy the Conversion Slayer. So this one is really about setting the wrong expectations. And really the point here is, know what you want to accomplish with your campaign and set your expectations accordingly. So entering into any kind of a marketing activity without setting the right expectations is likely going to let you down. And more importantly, going into it without setting any expectations, and that's what we see a lot of people do is they'll just start running the campaign without first, defining what success looks like for them, and then they're inevitably not happy with the results. So the first thing to do is really do your homework. So, understand your ROI, and this really goes back to understanding your business. Understand what a profitable conversion is for your business. So, factoring in how much it costs you to buy or produce, your particular product, all the way through the business metrics that are associated with, with that profitable conversion. Then understand what your conversion rate is off of your website. From there, you can then expand and understand how much it's going to cost you to drive, clicks, which will ultimately turn into conversions to your website. So do your keyword research, understand what the average click prices are in your particular vertical, and that will help you determine what your target ROI is going to be, what your target conversion, cost per conversion is going to be. From there, you need to be prepared to enter an exploratory period, and we at Trada have sort of dubbed this the CPA roller coaster. What inevitably happens when you start a paid search campaign is, you'll put in a bunch of new ads, you'll put in a bunch of keywords, and you will start to see your conversion rate go up and up and up and up. It will pass your target conversion rate, and you'll start panicking, and it sort of keeps going up. And hopefully along the way, what you're doing is collecting data, analyzing that data, getting rid of the stuff that's not working, not converting for you, and adding more of what is working for you. And you'll inevitably, if you do that, do your homework and stay on top of your campaign, you'll see a crossover point where it will very, very specifically, your CPA will start to trend back down. It will drop below your target CPA, and then from there, you'll sort of breathe a sigh of relief, and you can continue to optimize and drive that cost per conversion lower and lower. But it's really that early time in the campaign where you don't know what's going to work, and you're collecting data to find out what is working and what's not, that can be the most sort of stressful and tenuous for you. Once you get through that, then you're sort of really looking to get marginally better and better and better as you go.
Thanks, Bill. So the killer mistake number 11 is separating PPC and SEO. We always suggest that you work on PPC and SEO simultaneously. And especially if you're just getting started, it might seem like a lot of work to focus on both of them, but actually starting them at the same time and maintaining them simultaneously can save you time, because the data they create will inform both programs. Specifically, you can use your successful PPC keywords to build your SEO keyword list. So the standard procedure for starting out in SEO is to do all this keyword research. But search marketing is kind of like a big marketing test that gives you results really quickly. Within hours or days of starting a search campaign, you can start to see which keywords are getting clicks. And within a couple weeks, you can narrow this list down to the ones that are converting. And this is a really great place for you to start for your SEO list. And of course, having good SEO practices will drive up your quality score, which in turn will get you clicks and help you boost your conversions. So we actually have a lot of content already written around this PPC and SEO conundrum. And if you would like to visit our website at trada.com/resources, you can download a brief and look at a webinar. We actually did a whole topic on this PPC and SEO working together thing. We've done some sort of chicken and egg discussions, and it's really great for you if you are, especially if you're just starting out, or if you're trying to figure out how those two campaigns can work together.
Okay, mistake number 12 is taking a vacation. So the good news about paid search is that your campaign can run whenever you want. It can run while you're sleeping, it can run while you're on vacation. The bad news is that it can, while you're sleeping or while you're on vacation, you can end up with runaway costs. So really the moral of the story here is, in order to be competitive and in order to keep your cost per conversion down, you need to constantly be in there optimizing your campaign, and leaving it alone, sort of setting it and forgetting it, if you will, is really going to create runaway conversion costs for you. So, as you set up your campaign, remember that you need to allocate ideally a few minutes a day, or at least an hour or two a week, once or twice a week, where you go in and you look at your bid prices and see where there are opportunities to lower your bid price based on your quality score. As your quality score goes up, you can pay less for those clicks. If you're higher than you feel like you need to be in terms of bid position, or ad position, I should say, you can drop your bid price down a little bit and drop a couple of spots and see how that works for you. Continually keep an eye on your keywords. Look at what's not working for you, get rid of those keywords, and then look at what's working for you and add more variations of those types of keywords. And do the same thing with your ads. Constantly look at which ads are working for you and which ones aren't, and keep split testing those as you go.
Thank you, Val. So here we are at the final killer mistake, not testing. So we always like to say that search marketing is exceptional because it gives you all the tools you need to test your messages built right in. You can A/B test ad copy just by writing multiple ads for each ad group, and the ones that perform the best will deliver clicks and conversions. You can use what you learn from this across channels. You can use it to split test messages that you might use on the display network or in Facebook, or even in print advertising, and it gives you this really amazing instant feedback. So if you're not using this information to inform campaign changes, as well as your online and your offline branding on other channels, you're really making a mistake. So here's a pretty simple way to test ad copy. We always suggest that you write 4 ads for each ad group, and then vary the subject lines in 2 of those ads and the call to action in the other 2 ads. And then after 2 weeks, choose the 2 that didn't perform as well, rewrite them, and just keep testing, keep doing it. Do the rinse and repeat style of doing this. And you will constantly learn things about your company, about your message, about your customers. And this is just sort of like an added-in benefit of paid search, and it will inform everything else you do. It's great because you have this, like, the market is always changing, but you always have data to show you how the market is changing and how your message is changing. So we always suggest that you talk about testing when you're working on your campaign. So we would like to take just 2 minutes to tell you that Trada can solve all of these problems for you and take care of everything we've talked about today. And it actually doesn't cost any more than if you were to solve them yourself. So Bill, if I can hand it over to you.
Sure. Yeah. So, probably one of the things that you've sort of heard, a common theme along the way that you've heard from Anna and myself, is that, doing paid search well takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of attention, and it takes a certain amount of sophistication to, do things like split testing and to, use exact and phrase match keywords. And so the reason that we founded Trada was really to help advertisers deal with these sorts of things. So, we have a crowd of over 2,000 paid search experts who are available to do the hard work of running your paid search campaign for you. So let me talk a little bit about, just how this works. So you can put your campaign into the Trada marketplace, and once it goes into the marketplace and you define some basic parameters, what your budget is, how much you want to pay for a click and a conversion, there are multiple paid search experts available to work on your campaign at the same time. And this is really important because it gives you a number of things. The first thing that it does is it gives you diversity of thinking. I mentioned earlier that, the way that I might search for a product living here in Boulder, Colorado, and the way that a female living in New York City might search for the exact same product might be very different. When you have a lot of people working on your campaign, you get that diversity of thinking that comes from a lot of different people, coming up with keywords, writing new ads, etc. The other thing that you get is constant optimization. So when there are lots of people working on your campaign, if each of them spends a few minutes a day working on your campaign, the sum total of that is a lot of and very continual campaign optimization. The other thing that it gives you is the ability to run on multiple ad networks. So one of the things that we see from a lot of our advertisers who come to us is that they only run on usually Google's AdWords. And the reason for that is pretty simple. Google has the bulk of the search market, and most advertisers feel like it's just too much trouble. It takes too much time, and it's too challenging for them to run on more than one ad network. And that's really quite frankly true. It at least doubles your work, if not more so. The problem is that when you do that, you're losing out on a huge portion of your available market when you're not advertising on Yahoo and Bing. Running campaigns in our marketplace allows you to do that literally with the click of a button, and the optimizers will do the hard work of setting up ads, creating keywords, setting bid prices on multiple ad networks, and dealing with the little differences that make a campaign better or worse on one than the other. The other thing that it gets for you is really sort of the ultimate goal of all of this, and that's better and lower cost conversion rates. Our paid search experts are paid only on performance, so they have to generate clicks or conversions for you for less than what your stated goal is in order to earn money working on your campaign. And what that does is it really well aligns and very tightly aligns your goals with the goals of the paid search experts. Because it's they're working to get low-cost conversions, and that's ultimately what you want. Trada makes its money not by charging you a fee, a setup fee, a monthly percent of ad spend, or a management fee. We make our money by taking a portion of the optimizer's earnings each month. So what that really means for you is that there are no fees to get started and no ongoing management fees to run your campaign. You're only paying for the performance that you get out of the campaign. And it's something that you can get started on right away. So if you've been thinking about, improving your paid search campaign or getting started for the first time, this is a really easy way for you to do that within just a matter of hours or days. So that's just a bit about Trada. We'd love to talk to you more about it. You can certainly go to our website and learn a lot more. In the meantime, we will open it up for questions.
Everyone, thank you for sticking around, and we are now going to answer some questions. I think I'm going to take the first one. Richard wants to know, how does deleting keywords that aren't producing help your ad campaign? Why not just leave the garbage in and focus on adding more improved keywords? So I'm not sure if I didn't express myself clearly earlier when I talked about how you should write ads and then get rid of the ads that aren't performing. You should, in my opinion, absolutely keep in the keywords that aren't performing. Just remember that paid search works like a market. So the stuff that works, works, and the stuff that doesn't work, doesn't work. You might have these long-tail keywords where you get very, very few clicks on them. And you might think that they are not performing, but they might have a much higher conversion rate. So here at Trada, we believe that having a large volume of keywords is better. Now, you might have some keywords that are in there causing trouble, and you might want to get rid of them. But for the most part, we suggest that you do have a large volume of keywords.
I'll take a little different spin on that as well. So, again, the question is, how does deleting keywords that aren't producing help your ad campaign? I think we need to define what not producing means, right? So if they're not producing a lot of clicks, that's okay. They're not doing you a lot of harm. If they're not producing you a lot of conversions, that's where you need to go in and delete those or pause those keywords. And the reason for that is you don't want keywords that are driving a ton of traffic to your site, but ultimately not converting, not becoming leads or sales. Those are the kinds of keywords that will, blow your cost per conversion through the roof and not ultimately get you the results you want. So a little bit of a nuanced difference between, what we mean with producing. So again, if they're not generating a lot of clicks, no harm. If they're generating lots of clicks but no conversions, those are the ones you really want to go in and get out of your system.
Thanks, Bill. So I actually think I would like to hand this next question over to you as well. Sven wants to know, how do you start a new campaign when you don't yet know the necessary ROI?
So that's a great question. I think what you need to do is go in and understand what your ROI is. And Trada has account managers that you can contact, and we can help you establish what your ROI is. But ROI really begins at your basic business metrics. What is your gross margin on your products? How much does it cost you to produce those products, to sell those products? And from there, you have kind of an anchor point so that you know how many conversions do I need to produce every month in order to be profitable, and how much can I pay for those conversions and still run a profitable business. And so you don't always know exactly what your sweet spot in terms of your cost per conversion is. That's certainly true. But you should definitely know what a profitable or unprofitable conversion is for you, because selling more products faster, at an increasing rate and losing money on all of them is obviously a zero-sum game. That's not something that you want. Know your business metrics, understand those, and start from that as kind of an anchor point. Then once you get some data, you can decide, can I lower my cost per conversion without losing the associated volume with it.
Thanks, Bill. So I think I'll take the next question. Floyd wants to know, where do we go to find a team to help us with the copywriting and the landing pages, etc.? This is a very specialized field, and does Trada recommend a team for this? So we do talk a lot about how sending traffic to a landing page that's optimized for conversion is very important. I've heard people say that we are the billboard for your store, but once people go to your store, it's kind of out of our hands a little bit. So there are actually some third-party landing page platforms that you can use. One of them, which is a friend of Trada, I'm going to give them a little shout-out, is Unbounce. You can visit them at unbounce.com. They make landing page creation very easy, and we especially like them because for companies that maybe don't have the ability to hire like an in-house developer and an in-house designer, they're able to create landing pages without any of that. You can do it yourself, and then you can drive your PPC traffic to those, and they're already optimized for conversion. So we do suggest, if you don't have those types of in-house resources, that you use a third-party third-party landing page platform, and there are a few out there. So the next question, I think I would like to hand this one over to Bill. Sven would like to know, how do you keep your competition from stealing your keywords after all of the work of the optimizers?
How do you keep your competition from stealing them? Well, I guess the short answer is that you can't keep them from stealing them, in the sense that, anybody can go in and bid on any keyword. So, you don't have the ability to sort of firewall off, if you will, the keywords that you set up. But I can tell you that the more you work to go into the long tail of keywords, you can sort of, outsmart, if you will, your competition, or outwork your competition by going into the long tail and finding those very specific and highly converting and less expensive keywords. But, you're always going to run into your competition, on a lot of the keyword space. The secret there is to improve your quality score. Google has what's called a quality score. The better your quality score, the better you're going to be able to beat your competition. And that will happen in two forms. One is you'll be able to get a higher ad position, and you will also pay less for the clicks. And the way that you get a good quality score is by having a tight connection between your keyword, the content of the ad that's associated with that keyword, and the content of the landing page, and the correlation of the content of the ad and the landing page. And so the combination of that very tight coupling allows you to increase your quality score, which is going to increase your ad position and decrease your click costs. So that's really a great way to do that. And in order to do that, you need to create very small and tight ad groups so that you keep that tight correlation. Sort of lumping everything into one or two big ad groups is not going to help you.
Thank you, Bill. So actually that dovetails very nicely into our next question, which is from Hunter. He's asking how many keywords should be in each ad group. So in order to get this high quality score, we always suggest that you keep your ad groups incredibly small and incredibly relevant. So a good way to think about this is to kind of reverse it and start at your landing page. So your landing page should have all of your keywords in your ad group in it, and your ad should also have all of your keywords in your ad group in it. So if you start with your landing page, write ads based on your landing page, and then ensure that every single one of your keywords is in your ad, you'll make sure that your ad groups are tight and focused. Now this might sound kind of impossible, but if you have ad groups that are really small, like we're talking 10 keywords or less, maybe to use the shoe example, you would have basically the same version of each word as each one of your keywords. So I'm trying to think of like an example that will be clear. Bill, can you?
Yeah. So if you're selling, men's dress shoes and women's dress shoes and dress shoes for going to a wedding, things like that, right? You're going to want to lump those into very tightly, very focused ad groups, because then when people go and search for those products, you can point them directly to the landing page that's going to sell that specific product, not sort of a broad category of dress shoes, for either men or women, I guess. You might even want to get more specific than that and go to a specific brand, a specific type of dress shoe, a specific color of shoe, things like that, so that the tighter and tighter you can close that aperture on the landing page, the more you're going to drive up your quality score. You're going to increase decrease your conversion costs, and lower your click costs.
And actually, if you'd like to hear us talk more about this, when we will be much more prepared and have visuals to go with it, we are having a webinar next month called The Architecture of Ad Groups. And when we send out a copy of the slides and a recording of this presentation and a guide tomorrow, we will also let you know when that webinar will be. So we are running a little tight on time, but I want to grab a couple more questions here. Michael asks, can you explain how does your pay structure work? You're pay for performance, but is there a minimum requirement?
Yeah, so I'll dig into that a little bit. The way that it works is you put your campaign into the Trada marketplace and you specify what your monthly budget is, how much you're willing to pay for a click, and how much you're willing to pay for a conversion, like a sale or a lead. Certainly lots of other information as well, about your product, what you're trying to accomplish with your campaign, things like that. But we'll stay focused on the economics. Then multiple optimizers, paid search experts, can join your campaign and begin working on it. And what they're trying to do is generate a conversion by, for less than your stated goal. So let's say your goal is a $20 conversion. If they can generate a conversion for, say, $18 in ad spend, they keep the remaining $2 difference. So, $20 for the conversion comes from you, $18 goes to the ad networks to pay for the ad spend, and $2 goes back to the optimizer. Now, if the optimizer, if it costs them, $19 for a particular conversion, they don't earn any money off of that conversion, and so they've done all of that work essentially for free, for no reason. And so they're very much incentivized to work on campaigns that they, believe they can beat the conversion rate on, and then work very hard to drive that conversion rate lower and lower, because the lower they can drive it, the more earning opportunities they have. Now, because it's a marketplace, you have the ability to move your cost per conversion as well. So if you're seeing that you're coming in well below your conversion, you can try dropping your conversion price a little bit to squeeze more margin out for you, and then see what that does to your volume. Because what you're really looking for is sort of that magical crossover point between the volume of conversions that you can generate for the lowest cost per conversion. If you lower your conversion cost too much, you're going to start losing volume, and so you kind of want to find that sweet spot between volume and price.
Everyone, we are running really short on time, and we've had a ton of amazing questions, smart questions, tough questions, which of course are the ones that we like the most. I'm going to answer one more, but I know that some of you didn't get your chance, so I would love it if you would continue the discussion. You can email me at anna@trada.com. It's on this slide right here. You can see it, and I would absolutely love to talk to you more. We're going to take this final question. It is, how does the merchant ensure that the optimizers are actually continuing to optimize? So, Bill, do you mind taking this one?
Yeah, so I just talked a little bit about this, but the reason that they, the thing that keeps them optimizing the campaign is what I just described, and that is their motivation to generate low-cost conversions. The lower the price of the conversion that they're able to generate, the more money they make. So, they want to go in there and continually refine their keywords, write new ads, test new ads, so that they can try and get a lower and lower and lower cost per conversion so that they can earn more money. Again, because it's a marketplace, that then gives you the ability to try and lower your conversion cost a little bit, and improve your margins. And so, there's sort of a give and take between, the two numbers. But that's the reason that they're incentivized to go in and continually work on it, because it's an incentive for them to find low-cost conversions.
Thank you, Bill. Everyone, this has been Anna Sawyer and Bill Quinn from Trada. Thank you so much for joining us in today's webinar. We'll send you an email tomorrow with all the materials your heart could desire, and we hope we will see you in a future webinar. Thank you very much. This is the end of the webinar.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good afternoon.